Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu5 and this is a book review, and if you read the title you know what book I'm reviewing. It's Hide the Spanish book. This is supposed to be the new edition. And yeah, I'm not going to necessarily read this book to you because it has a lot of stuff in there that's not really family appropriate, and I try to keep this channel at PG-13, not necessarily G rated, but you know, I try to stay in some sort of line at least. But yeah, this is Hide the Spanish book, and basically it's slang and expressions that are used by the younger generation. They're coarse words, you know, slang, what they mean, the context of them, and how to use them. And you might be thinking to yourself, why do I need a book about slang and coarse words and stuff like that? Well, as you know, I've been studying Spanish. I actually have a kind of a long history of off and on studying different languages. As you know, some of my past videos, I talked about me speaking Russian to a girl. And you know, there was a video of me where I tell you where I'm actually from, and I introduce myself in several different languages. But this book in particular, why would this book come in handy? I mean, shouldn't we hold ourselves to some sort of standard of politeness and generosity and hospitality? Why do I need to learn these words? Well, I'll say this. One, you should be able to tell when someone's talking down to you. If you can't tell that someone's talking down to you, then you haven't really mastered the language. Two, it might be appropriate. There might be a time where you need to tell someone to back off or whatever, and you need to know the right words to tell them to show your intention of how serious you are. Three is fun. I'm not going to lie. I haven't necessarily used all of these words yet. I have talked about one of the words in this book to a Spanish girl that I knew, and boy did our eyes get big. But anywho, it's good to know, because you need to know when people are talking down to you. You need to know what people are talking about if they're talking about something that's not necessarily proper. So it's quite useful. Don't get it for your 8-year-old, because they wouldn't know how to use this information wisely, and they shouldn't know this stuff at that age. But when you're an adult, it's good to know the cool way of saying things, you know, the laid-back, informal way of saying things. It's good to know some of the off-color phrases and expressions, just so you know what where the conversation is going. Now, I'm going to open up the table of contents to show you what's kind of in this book without actually opening it up and reading it to you. Again, I don't know what my age demographic is, but yeah, here we go. I try not to be too crude on my channel. What's inside? You got basic expressions like how to say hello without sounding geeky, which is good stuff to know. Hooking up and breaking up could be useful. Personally, I think you need to know more than these phrases to have a relationship, but it's good interesting stuff to know. There was love and sex, how to get hot and heavy in Spanish, gay and lesbian life. Not necessarily something I want to study really hard, but again, it's good to know what these words mean, so you know where the conversation is going. You know, if you're trying to hook up and they start talking about gay and lesbian life and you don't know it, well, you know, you're not going to know where the conversation is going. So even though this is not very important to me, it's still good stuff to know. Sports and games, that's basically how to yell at the TV or yell at a team to score or to call them an idiot. You know, basically just yelling and cheering and harassing a sports team. You got shopping, That's good stuff to know if you're traveling anywhere in Latin America and you want to know how to ask for things. That's good stuff to know. Fashion, body parts and stuff. The media, I don't like the media section that well, just because I don't really tend to text in a foreign language. Partly because I'm terrible at texting in English. I'm not going to get any better at texting in Spanish. At least I don't think so. But they got friends and family, food, partying. They even have some remedies for hangovers and some stuff to do before drinking to prevent getting a hangover. Entertainment and gestures. So, relatively thin book. Gonna open it just so you can kind of see what's in there. You got tips, you got X-rated facts. Can't believe I just said that. I never actually found the embarrassing stories in the book. Maybe that was in the old edition and they forgot to put it in the new edition. As you can see, it's a relatively cheap book. If you're studying Spanish, it's good to know, but I will warn you ahead of time that this has a lot of slang in it, and as you know, slang is very regional. Just like how slang in Texas is different than slang in New York. Even Texas and Louisiana has different slang. There's different slangs in English-speaking countries. As far as United States, Canada, and Britain, Scotland, they all have different slang that don't necessarily coincide with each other. This has slang from Spain, Colombia, Argentina, Mexico. So it has some very region-specific things, and then it has some things that are more widely accepted. So just keep that in mind. And I did go over this with my friend Daniel, who's in my scuba diving videos. He is a native speaker, and he would read some of this. He's like, "This isn't right. This isn't right." And I think that's because the slang wasn't necessarily what he was used to. I am going to go through it with again because I lost this book. I ended up repurchasing it. And I'm going to go through it and like see what he says, what is more applicable to my situation, which is probably going to be the Mexico slang. But I'm going to go through it with him again. Next time we're fishing or something, just check through it. I'm still studying Spanish, still learning. I'm not fluent at all. I went to my first bilingual wedding, and I understood some basic words of the sentence, but I didn't quite get the whole sentence down. I knew what the sentence was because it was bilingual. They were saying it in English, saying it in Spanish, saying it in English, saying it in Spanish, and I could understand and comprehend some of the words, but I'm still not quite to the point where I can say I'm fluent and I can just go somewhere and have a conversation. But again, this teaches you slang, expressions, and their context. Be warned that saying some of this stuff can get you in trouble. If you say the wrong thing to the wrong man's woman, they're probably going to kick your butt. So some of this stuff is pretty, I don't want to say hot, but X-rated. It's not necessarily pornographic in the sense of that type of thing, but it's definitely some pretty crude stuff in here, and I think that's all I want to say about this book. Again, I don't encourage kids buying this book so they can curse out their teacher and the teacher will not know it. This should be for educational purposes only, to further your fluency in a different language, and so you can better understand and communicate with people around you, and you actually know where the conversation is going and what it's about. For example, there's words in here that in English don't mean anything terrible whatsoever. I don't really want to say the words on the video, but like there's a word that means a specific animal, but when you say it to a woman, for example, it means some really bad things. You don't want to call a woman this. That's what I was talking about with a Mexican chick that I was talking to. I was like, hey, this kind of funny, this double standard. You can say this, but you can't say that. And her eyes just went, and she goes, oh. And I was like, I thought I done screwed up. But anywho, that's the video. Relatively cheap book. And not all of it is applicable to Spanish. If the people you're coming into contact are Mexican Spanish, not all of this is applicable to you, just like if the people you talk to are mostly Argentinian, not all of this is applicable to you, or Colombia, but it's a good broad stepping stone into learning the slang. So that's it. Hope you have a great day. I'm a Satsu 5 and I'm out.